Hello, my name's Sherry Forsyth. I'm a peak performance coach, and I'm going to just give a few of my thoughts today on the worldwide pandemic, and maybe that we need to start seeing the positive that's going to come as a result of it worldwide. So if we look at history, there've always been watersheds. In other words, what happened before the World War One and after World War One, before the Second World War. In fact, sadly, wars are a lot of our watersheds. You know, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the floods, the natural disasters, before the cyclones. So we can think of many different watersheds that have hit the world. And the world afterwards has never been the same. We are sitting at a watershed at the moment with the COVID-19 virus, which is affecting people worldwide. So if we look at watersheds on an international basis, as I've said, there are wars where everybody's involved in it, but we can also have a watershed in just a country. It might be a new political party taking over, or it might be a particular trauma that you have, natural disaster just in your country. And then again, it will be before the earthquake and after the earthquake. And then we can have in our own personal lives the before and after, whatever the trauma is. So in our personal lives, it'll be, before our daughter Kerry died and after. That was a definite watershed moment. But there can also be positive moments, like our daughter Kathleen is before she got married and after she got married. As most families, before you have children and after you have children. So a watershed is not something that is alien to our being. But I think what I'm wanting to say today is that we have the choice of leaving behind the part of the world that we didn't like before COVID-19, and I'm going to speak a little bit about that. And we have the choice of embracing what we do want. We have the choice to decide how we want our new world to look. How we want our new world to look. That is an incredibly powerful place to be. So let's start at looking at the world before the pandemic and the parts of it that possibly we don't like, and there are many. So for those of you who are watching, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the rebroadcast, please add to this list, of the things that we've found that our world has got a little bit off track. We've gone in the wrong direction. So just off the top of my head, a few things that I would love to be able to leave behind would be things like the fact that our success is determined by material wealth only. Okay, only. So if you are living in the right home, have a certain level of income, driving the right car, you are seen to be successful. Is that right? Okay, is that right? So for me, the whole emphasis on materialism, I think, is something that we can do without. The whole world is kind of upside down, in my opinion. The people who are seen to be really successful and earn millions and millions of dollars are those in the entertainment industry. Now, I'm not saying it's an easy industry to be in, but it is. It's kind of frivolous, actually. So those people are the ones that earn the huge amounts of money, whereas the honest Joe, physical laborer who really works exceptionally hard for his money, maybe the people who are living on farms and eking out their existence, they are really working very hard, but they are not rewarded with money. So the way I see it, doing a slightly easier job is earning you millions. When you're doing an honest, hard day's work, you maybe not. What other ways would I like to leave behind of the old world? I think the fact that we choose greed and profit over caring for our staff, we will stand on everybody in order to get to the top so that we can see ourselves as being a success, which is material or money driven. But what about the people that we are standing on? What about the people that we are destroying, all in the name of I can be successful, our company can be successful? What about the people who are the drones in a business, and they are permanently being told that they're not getting through all their work during the day, they've got to take their work home every night. And so they have to choose work over their family and their children possibly. Is that not a bit skewed? All in the name of what? Of supposedly being successful. Let's look at the fact that we choose to be distanced from each other rather than connected. It's too much effort. We don't have the time in our very, very busy days to care for people who might be having some kind of difficulty in their life. So we might quickly just send them a WhatsApp or a little thinking of you, but actually we don't take the time to really care for each other, whether you're going through a difficulty or not. Just to spend time with, to connect, to enhance the relationships that we have on this earth. What else is a problem, an area of life that I would actually rather leave behind? I think the fact that we live a life of escapism. Our life is very pressured, it's very stressful, it is difficult, and therefore we use all sorts of escapism to make ourselves feel better. And this can often go into the whole realm of the dreadful disease of addiction. That can be escapism, overuse of food, of alcohol. We are over-medicated. We are obese as a world, the Western world anyway. So we are using other things to self-medicate to make ourselves feel better, because the world outside there is actually not really making us feel good about ourselves. So that for me is an indication that we need to change things. I'm sure there are lots of other things that you can think of that in our world as it was that we would like to change. Things like lack of spirituality, the fact that people are very materialistically driven. The list is endless. So I'm not going to be spending too much more time on that, but I think you get what I'm saying. We've lost our way. We've lost our way in our world. And the pandemic, much as I don't want to just ease over the fact that it is horrendous. The loss of life is horrendous. The people who are ill, the number of people who've been affected, including the doctors and nurses who are caring for us. I don't want to just skim over that and say, no, that's all okay. I don't want to skim over the fact that there will be probably a huge economic meltdown and crisis as a result of people not being able to work. There'll be many families and many companies where, because they're not able to work, there's huge poverty. How are we going to put food on the table for our children? So I don't want to gloss over any of that. It is a really, really horrendous and very difficult thing. But it also can be seen as an opportunity. It can be seen as an opportunity where we, going forward, can choose to live differently. Because of what we've learned during this pandemic, we can choose to live differently. And I find that really exciting. That maybe what will happen is our world will return to what I call the old-fashioned values. The values of caring for each other. The values of honesty and integrity, as opposed to greed and materialism and lack of care for each other, because we are stomping on each other to get to whatever our goal might be. That we can live in a world where maybe more people are choosing to work from home so they can be with their children. There won't be that much distancing. We might choose after this pandemic that distance learning is really a good way to be. Now, whether or not that is the case, we'll wait to see. But would schools maybe fall away because it's much easier and more time efficient to be able to teach online and do the distance learning that already around the world many teachers are doing? Is that going to remain with us? Or are we going to realize, actually, we really need to get our kids together. We need to have them in schools where they can learn from each other, socially and otherwise. What else might we learn? What else might we choose to take with us in the new normal? Because we have to realize that the normal that we knew before the pandemic has died. We will never go back to being normal in that way again. We will have a new normal. So what would that be? Maybe it's that we really connect well with each other. Maybe that we give importance again to our elderly, whom we've kind of shifted off to the side because they've got nothing more to give to our world. How ugly is that? There's a wealth of wisdom, a wealth of time that the elderly can give to our world, and we can use that, we can embrace that. What else might be lovely in the new normal of our world? Maybe the fact that our life, the pace of our life, is not so frenetic, is not so driven by busyness, that we can't even stop and really care for a friend. Maybe we'll realize that the slow pace of life is really valuable. We won't be suffering from all those stress-related illnesses because of the pace and pressure. We instead are going to be realizing how healthy we feel because we are not living at that hectic pace that is very difficult to maintain. So a slowness of life, and maybe not that we'll be living in a slow pace of life always, but that we remember that when the pace of our life was slower, how lovely were our weekends. We were doing things as a family that we didn't used to do before. We're playing in the garden. We're kicking around a soccer ball. We are doing the things that we in our generation maybe used to do as children, but we've lost those things. And now, instead of playing as a family in the garden, we all are on the internet and looking at our own shows or on WhatsApp or whatever it may be. Technology has become a big part of our life that's maybe out of balance. And maybe through this pandemic, our use of technology, which is fantastic, will get more into balance, and we'll balance technology with engaged living. I hope I'm making a little bit of sense as I'm just chatting off the top of my head. The other thing that we might want to take into the new normal with us is the fact that we can simplify our needs. We don't need all of those fancy things. We don't need all that food. We can do with less. So how can we simplify our life? What areas can we take away the excess, the added trimmings that actually don't really add a huge amount of happiness to our lives? All they do is they make us busier. Okay, so I would like to challenge you, whether you're listening live or to the rebroadcast. I would love to know what your comments are about two things. Firstly, what you would like to leave behind of our old world before the pandemic. And secondly, what you would like to choose to see in our new world going forward, because we are in the very powerful seats. Our world is in the powerful place of being able to choose how we would like to live going forward. How amazing is that? We can reevaluate how we're living our lives, what we are doing, what we are giving value to, what we are pushing aside. So take a while in the fact that most of us in the world are experiencing lockdown. We have got time to think about these things now. So what should we leave behind? And what can we fully embrace in the new normal that awaits us after lockdown is finished? As always, I thank you for your time in listening to this, and I really appreciate any comments you would like to make. If you would like to make comment via email, please feel free on sherryforsyth@gmail.com. That's CHERRIFORSYTH. Or you can go and have a look on my website at sherryforsythcoaching.com. Please follow me on Facebook, on YouTube. Let's get lovely, thoughtful, value-based decisions made as we move forward. Until next time, thank you.